Hey there, and welcome to Mr. Sleepy Science. The outside world can be hectic and noisy, but here everything slows way down. This is a calm space where curious people can fall asleep or just learn something while they're relaxing. Tonight, we're not only looking at forests, caves, and oceans. We're stepping right into them to find some of nature's most amazing secrets. We'll discover wonders that most folks never get to see. A flower that opens only once in its entire life. Rocks that appear to walk by themselves. Storms that have been going for hundreds of years. And trees that are older than whole civilizations. We'll move softly, one fact at a time, through deserts that suddenly fill with flowers, rivers that flow under the sea, and the quiet, impossible ways that life keeps going in every part of Earth. Some things you'll hear tonight might catch you by surprise. Some might stick with you, like how rain smells after a summer storm. And before we start, if these peaceful, curious journeys help you relax or give you a nice way to finish your day, think about liking and subscribing, or just leaving your thoughts in the comments. It helps other people find this place too, one sleepy person at a time. Now, if you're all set, let's get started. A single teaspoon of dirt can hold more living things than there are humans on the planet. Under your feet is a world you almost never see. In just 1 teaspoon of good soil, there can be billions of tiny organisms, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and loads of small creatures like nematodes and mites. This living system breaks down dead leaves, reuses nutrients, and even talks to plants using chemical messages. Most of these organisms are too small to picture clearly, but together they build the base of every land ecosystem. Without them, plants would have trouble growing, and the whole chain of life above ground would fall apart. Scientists keep finding new species in dirt samples, life forms that have never been named or looked at. It's humbling to realize that beneath your shoe is a busy city of life, so huge it makes the entire human population look small, quietly working to keep our planet alive. Some plants can move quickly enough to catch something alive. Most plants move too slowly for us to see, growing and bending over days or weeks. But a few species move with real speed, quick enough to trap a bug that isn't paying attention. The Venus flytrap, for instance, can slam its leaves shut in under a second when the small hairs inside get touched twice in a row. Some sundews curl their sticky leaves inward, while the water wheel plant spins its traps while underwater. These movements happen because of changes in water pressure inside the plant's cells, set off by touch. For the bug, it's over in a flash. 1 second it's wandering around, the next it's trapped. These plants grow in soils that don't have many nutrients, so catching and breaking down prey gives them the nitrogen they need to live. Watching one work feels kind of unsettling, almost like the plant just made a choice. A few trees can live for thousands of years. In the peaceful parts of the world, there are trees so ancient that whole civilizations have come and gone during their lifetime. The bristlecone pines out in the American West are some of the oldest, with a few of them over 4,000 years old. They grow slowly, twisting into carved shapes under wind and snow, their bark worn but still living. Inside, the tree's core keeps a living record of every year that passed, wet years and dry years, storms and seasons. These trees have survived without getting knocked over, just by adapting, letting parts of themselves die off in rough years, then growing again when things get better. When you stand near one, you're next to something that started growing before the pyramids were built, and it's still quietly putting out new leaves, one spring after another. Some fungi can take over the minds of bugs. In the undergrowth of tropical forests, something strange happens. The Ophiocordyceps fungus infects ants and other insects, spreading through their bodies. Once it's inside, it releases chemicals that change how the insect acts, making it leave its colony and climb to a high, open spot. There, the fungus kills its host, growing a stalk from its body that shoots spores into the air, ready to infect others below. This isn't random. The height and spot are perfect for spreading spores as far as they can go. To us, it feels almost like science fiction, a parasite taking over its host's nervous system to turn it into a tool for its own reproduction. Yet, it's a natural part of the rainforest's tangled web of life, both creepy and fascinating in how exact it is. There are places where fish fall from the sky. In a small town in Honduras called Yarro, people have a name for something rare but incredible: Lluvia de peces, the rain of fish. A few times a year, usually after heavy thunderstorms, folks find small fish flapping around in the streets and fields. Scientists think strong winds or waterspouts might lift fish from nearby rivers or the sea and carry them inland before dropping them with the rain. Some locals see it as a miracle, while others just treat it as a weird natural thing. Similar reports have popped up in other parts of the world with frogs, crabs, and even jellyfish. To see, it must feel surreal to hear the rain falling, then see it shimmering with living creatures tumbling from the sky. A few animals can survive being frozen completely solid. Up in the far north, certain creatures can pause their lives in the most extreme way you can imagine by freezing. The wood frog from Alaska, for example, can let up to 2/3 of its body water turn to ice during winter. Its heart stops, its blood stops moving, and still it isn't dead. Special substances in its body, like glucose and urea, work like natural antifreeze, keeping its cells from bursting. When spring comes back and the temperature goes up, the frog thaws out. Its heart starts beating again, and it hops away like nothing happened. Some insects, fish, and even tiny microscopic tardigrades use similar tricks. It's a survival method that feels impossible, yet nature has been fine-tuning it for millions of years, letting life keep going in places where winter is more like a months-long deep freeze. Lightning hits Earth millions of times every single day. All over the globe, lightning is flashing somewhere right now. Scientists guess that around 8 million strikes happen each day, more than 90 every second. These bolts happen when electrical charges build up inside clouds or between clouds and the ground. The air around a bolt heats up to over 30,000 degrees C in an instant, hotter than the sun's surface. That sudden heat makes the air expand explosively, which creates thunder. Lightning doesn't just light up the sky. It also plays a part in our planet's chemistry, helping create compounds like nitrogen oxides that plants need. In the tropics, where storms happen a lot, the night horizon often flickers with distant flashes, a silent reminder that the atmosphere is always alive with energy. A few fish can walk on land. In tidal areas and swampy places, certain fish have learned to move outside the water. The mudskipper, found in parts of Asia and Africa, uses its strong front fins to walk across mud flats, looking for food and avoiding predators. It can breathe through its skin and the lining of its mouth and throat as long as it stays wet. Other fish, like the climbing perch, can survive out of water for days and even move between ponds. These unusual tricks let them take advantage of environments where fish that can only live in water can't survive. Watching a fish pull itself along the ground feels almost like seeing evolution happening, a peek at the ancient past when life was first testing the edges of land. The Amazon rainforest creates its own rain. The Amazon is so huge and thick that it makes its own weather. Every day, the forest sends billions of liters of water vapor into the air through something called transpiration. This moisture rises, cools down, and turns into clouds, which later fall back as rain, feeding the forest that made it. This cycle helps the Amazon stay green and full even during drier times. It also affects weather way beyond South America, changing rainfall patterns thousands of kilometers away. The sheer size is hard to picture. From above, the rainforest breathes out great clouds of moisture, shaping its own climate and acting like a giant heart pumping water into the atmosphere. There are rivers that flow underneath the ocean, below the waves, where sunlight fades away. Rivers can still flow. These underwater rivers aren't made of fresh water, but of thick, salty, or sediment-filled currents that travel along the seafloor. One example is in the Black Sea, where a strong current winds for over 100 kilometers beneath the surface. These rivers carve channels, carry nutrients, and shape the seabed just like rivers on land. They often happen where bodies of water with different salt levels meet, creating a boundary where the heavier water sinks and flows separately. Divers who have explored them describe a strange feeling, swimming through one river inside another, the layers clearly visible in the dim underwater light. A few deserts bloom with flowers overnight. Deserts can look lifeless, but their soil often hides seeds lying asleep for years, waiting for the right time. After a rare heavy rain, these seeds can sprout almost right away. Within hours to days, the empty ground turns into a blanket of color yellows, purples, reds, as thousands of plants bloom all at once. The show can last only a short while before the heat comes back, drying the flowers and scattering seeds for the next round. In places like the Atacama Desert in Chile, these super blooms can be seen from space, an explosion of life against one of the toughest landscapes on Earth. It's nature's way of reminding us that even in the most unlikely spots, beauty and plenty can show up in a moment. There are lakes that never freeze, even in the coldest winters. A few lakes defy the seasons. In freezing regions, most water surfaces lock into ice, but some lakes stay liquid all year. This can happen for a few reasons. Some are fed by warm underground springs that keep the water above freezing. Others are really deep, with temperatures in the depths that help control the surface. In volcanic areas, heat from deep down seeps upward, creating pockets of open water, even when everything around is frozen solid. These lakes become important safe spots for wildlife in winter, bringing in birds and mammals to drink and eat. In the harsh quiet of a snowy plain, the sight of open rippling water feels almost magical, a reminder that warmth can hide in unexpected places, keeping life going against the odds. Coral reefs are built by tiny animals. When you imagine a coral reef, you might think of colorful rock-like structures full of fish. But the reef itself is alive, built by countless tiny animals called coral polyps. Each polyp puts out a hard skeleton of calcium carbonate, and over centuries, these skeletons pile up into huge structures. New generations of polyps live on top of the old ones, creating a living city in the sea. Coral reefs give food and shelter to thousands of species, acting as nurseries for many fish. Though delicate, they can stretch for hundreds of kilometers, like the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. From above, they look like bright patches in blue water, but up close, each ridge and curve is the work of animals no bigger than a grain of rice, slowly shaping the ocean floor one tiny layer at a time. A few birds can fly for months without landing. The common swift is one of nature's most tireless travelers. Once it leaves the nest, it might spend months in the air without touching down, eating, sleeping, and even mating on the wing. Scientists have tracked swifts migrating thousands of kilometers, looping between continents, riding air currents to save energy. They can sleep in short bursts, gliding while part of their brain rests. Other species, like certain albatrosses, also cover huge distances over open ocean without landing, using wind patterns to stay up. To imagine living in the sky for so long is to see life from a totally different angle, one where the land is just a distant idea, and the horizon is the only thing that stays the same. The air in forests can work like natural medicine. Walk into a forest, take a deep breath, and you might feel an almost instant calm. Part of this comes from chemicals released by trees called phytoncides. These compounds help protect plants from pests and disease, but when we breathe them in, they can lower stress hormones and even boost immune function. In Japan, this practice of spending mindful time in forests is called Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing. The effect isn't just in your head. Studies have shown real health benefits after time spent among trees. It's as if the forest shares a bit of its strength with us, a quiet exchange between two living things carried on the air itself. Volcanoes can create brand new islands. When an undersea volcano erupts, molten rock can build up until it rises above the water's surface, forming completely new land. These volcanic islands might start as bare steaming rock, but over time, winds and currents bring seeds, birds, and marine life, starting the slow process of settling in. Some islands disappear again as waves wear them away, while others grow into permanent homes for plants, animals, and even people. In 1963, an eruption off the coast of Iceland created the island of Surtsey, which became a living lab for scientists studying how ecosystems start from scratch. To watch a whole island appear where there was once only ocean is to see Earth reshaping itself in real time. A few animals can regrow entire limbs. If a salamander loses a leg, it can grow a new one, bones, muscles, nerves, and all. Certain species can even regenerate parts of their heart, eyes, or spinal cord. Starfish can regrow lost arms, and if the central body stays intact, some can regenerate a whole new starfish from a single limb. This amazing ability comes from specialized cells that can turn into any type of tissue needed. Humans share some of the same genetic pathways, but ours are much less active. Scientists study these animals, hoping to unlock ways to heal severe injuries in people. In nature, regeneration is more than a trick. It's a survival strategy, letting creatures escape predators and recover fully from damage that would be permanent for most life. Glaciers can move like rivers of ice. Though they seem frozen in place, glaciers are always on the move. Gravity pulls them downhill, and over months and years, the ice flows like an incredibly slow river. The speed can be just a few centimeters a day, or in rare surges, several meters. As glaciers move, they grind rock into fine powder, carve valleys, and reshape landscapes. When they retreat, they leave behind lakes, ridges, and fertile soil. Watching a glacier move in real time is almost impossible without special equipment. But satellite images and time-lapse photography show their steady, relentless motion, a reminder that even the most solid things on Earth are not truly still. There are caves filled with giant crystals. In northern Mexico lies the Cave of the Crystals, a hidden chamber discovered in 2000 beneath a working mine. Inside are some of the largest natural crystals ever found, selenite columns, as long as 15 meters, gleaming in the dim light. The cave's extreme heat and humidity make it dangerous to enter without protection. But those who have described it as stepping into a world out of a dream, where the walls themselves seem alive with light. These crystals grew over hundreds of thousands of years in mineral-rich water, kept at a constant temperature, an otherworldly reminder of the slow artistry of geology. A few plants communicate through underground networks. Beneath the forest floor, fungi form huge networks of thin threads called mycelium, connecting the roots of different plants. Through this wood wide web, plants can share nutrients, send chemical signals, and even warn each other about pests. A tree under attack might release signals that get its neighbors to produce protective compounds, or an older tree might send sugars to a shaded sapling. This cooperation blurs the lines between individual and community, revealing a hidden layer of intelligence in ecosystems. What looks like a quiet forest from above is, below the surface, buzzing with silent conversation. There are forests growing on floating islands. In certain lakes and wetlands, mats of soil, roots, and plants break free from the shore and drift across the water. Over time, grasses and shrubs take hold, and even trees can grow, their roots tangling through the floating mass. Some islands are small enough to drift with the wind, while others anchor temporarily before breaking loose again. These floating forests give shelter to birds, insects, and fish below, and can last for decades. In some parts of the world, they're woven into local folklore, places that seem to appear and vanish with the seasons. They're a reminder that even something as grounded as a forest can learn to wander. Some butterflies can see colors humans can't. Our eyes pick up 3 primary colors of light: red, green, and blue, which combine into all the shades we see. But a few butterflies have much more complex eyes, with receptors for extra colors, including ultraviolet. This lets them see patterns on flowers, and even on other butterflies that are invisible to us. These hidden markings help them find food, identify mates, or avoid predators. To imagine what they see is to imagine a world painted with colors. We don't have names for a spectrum beyond our experience, but as real as the sunlight on our own skin. A few animals can change their sex to survive. In certain fish species, like clownfish and wrasses, sex isn't fixed. If the dominant female in a group dies, the largest male might change into a female to take her place. Some species switch from female to male instead, making sure the population can still reproduce. These transformations aren't just about behavior. The animals' bodies go through deep biological changes, altering hormone levels, reproductive organs, and even physical appearance. It's a survival trick shaped by millions of years of evolution, letting them adapt instantly to the needs of their community. The tallest waves in the ocean can form without storms. Most waves are born from wind, but rogue waves can show up suddenly, towering over the surrounding sea without any storm to warn of their arrival. These giants form when smaller waves merge and combine their energy, creating a single wall of water that can be twice as tall as anything nearby. Once thought to be sailors' myths, rogue waves have been recorded by satellites and ocean buoys, some rising over 30 meters high. They're rare but dangerous, powerful enough to damage large ships. Out in the open ocean, they can come and go in moments, a reminder that the sea has surprises hidden even in calm weather. There are flowers that bloom only once every few decades. A few plants invest years, even decades, in preparing for a single flowering. The agave, for example, can take 30 years to bloom, sending up a tall stalk covered in blossoms before dying soon after. In the Himalayas, the rare Himalayan lily waits years for the perfect conditions before unfolding its pale blooms. These long waits often line up with mass flowerings, overwhelming pollinators, and making sure seeds are spread far and wide. It's a gamble, but for the plants that succeed, it's a way to leave behind countless offspring in one brilliant, fleeting moment. A few lakes change color depending on the season. In certain places, the same lake can look deep blue in summer, green in spring, or even pink at times. These changes often come from shifts in algae growth, mineral content, or the way sunlight scatters in the water. For example, Australia's Lake Hillier is famously bubblegum pink year-round due to unique microorganisms, while other lakes shift as their algae populations rise and fall. Standing at the shore, it's hard to believe the water hasn't been dyed, yet it's all the work of nature's chemistry, painting the surface in seasonal tones. Some animals never stop growing. While most creatures have a set adult size, a few keep growing throughout their lives, a trait called indeterminate growth. Many species of fish, reptiles, and amphibians grow larger each year, as long as they have enough food and survive long enough. This is why some giant catfish, turtles, or crocodiles can reach extraordinary sizes in the wild. It also means the largest individuals are often the oldest, carrying decades of experience in their slow, careful movements. Earth's magnetic field helps animals find their way. From sea turtles crossing oceans to birds migrating between continents, many animals can sense Earth's magnetic field. This sixth sense comes from specialized cells or magnetic particles in their bodies, letting them navigate even when landmarks aren't visible. Some use it as a backup when clouds block the stars or the sun. The exact ways it works are still being studied, but experiments show that changing magnetic cues can shift an animal's direction. It's as if they carry an invisible compass tuned to the planet itself. There are trees that can walk to find sunlight. In parts of Central and South America, the walking palm grows multiple stilt-like roots that can slowly replace each other. If one side of the tree is shaded, it grows new roots toward the light and lets the old ones die away, shifting its trunk slightly over time. While it doesn't stride across the forest, it can change position by several centimeters a year, enough to reach better conditions. It's a slow motion form of movement that challenges our idea of plants as totally fixed in place. A few plants can store water for years. In the harshest environments, survival can depend on finding water where none seems to exist. Certain plants, like the baobab tree of Africa or desert succulents, store massive reserves of water in their trunks, stems, or leaves. A baobab's swollen trunk can hold thousands of liters, keeping it alive through years of drought. These stores also support birds, insects, and mammals during dry seasons. In landscapes where rain might not fall for months or years, these plants are living reservoirs, holding life inside until the world turns green again. There are glowing bays where the water lights up at night. In a few rare coastal spots, the sea comes alive after dark with a soft, otherworldly glow. These bioluminescent bays are filled with microscopic organisms called dinoflagellates that give off light when disturbed. Every splash, paddle, or passing fish sets off tiny sparks, turning the water into liquid starlight. One of the most famous examples is Mosquito Bay in Puerto Rico, where the glow is so bright you can trace the path of a swimming turtle by the light it leaves behind. The effect comes from a chemical reaction inside the organisms, similar to how fireflies glow on land. Calm shallow waters, and warm temperatures create perfect conditions for these glowing displays, which can be breathtaking to witness. Dip your hand into the water and lift it out. Droplets shimmer briefly before fading, as if the ocean itself is trying to keep you in its memory. A few mountains grow taller every year. Mountains may seem solid and unchanging, but some are actually still rising. This happens because of tectonic forces deep within the Earth. Where continental plates collide, the crust is pushed upward, creating mountain ranges that continue to grow millimeter by millimeter each year. The Himalayas, home to Mount Everest, are still rising as the Indian plate presses into the Eurasian plate. Even though erosion wears mountains down over time, in places like this, the upward force beats the wearing away. In geological terms, it's a rapid process, though far too slow for us to notice day by day. Scientists can measure this growth with precise satellite data, watching peaks inch higher over decades. It's a reminder that even landscapes we think of as ancient and fixed are still in motion, still being shaped by the same planetary forces that built them in the first place. Some animals can live without oxygen for months. Most creatures on Earth need oxygen to survive, but a few have evolved to do without it for astonishing periods. The painted turtle, for example, can hibernate underwater in frozen lakes for more than 4 months, surviving without oxygen by slowing its metabolism and switching to anaerobic energy production. Some worms and small crustaceans in deep, oxygen-poor sediments have adapted to extract energy in ways that bypass oxygen entirely. Even more surprisingly, scientists have discovered tiny jellyfish-like creatures called Henneguia salminicola that have no mitochondria, meaning they never use oxygen at all. For these animals, oxygen isn't just optional, it's irrelevant. Such adaptations let them thrive in environments where most life couldn't last more than a few minutes, showing that survival can take forms we wouldn't have imagined possible. Rainbows can appear as full circles from the air. From the ground, rainbows always appear as arcs, their bases hidden by the horizon. But from above, say from an airplane or a high mountain, you can sometimes see them as perfect circles. This happens because a rainbow is really a complete ring of light created when sunlight is refracted and reflected inside raindrops. On land, the ground cuts off the lower half of the circle from view. From high in the air with no obstruction, the entire ring becomes visible. Pilots often see these circular rainbows, sometimes surrounding the shadow of their aircraft, a phenomenon known as a glory. It's a vivid reminder that the beauty we see is often just a fraction of the whole picture, and that perspective, quite literally, can reveal a world that's been there all along, just out of sight. A few deserts are colder than ice. When we think of deserts, we picture scorching heat. But a desert is defined by dryness, not temperature. The largest deserts on Earth, Antarctica and the Arctic, are frozen landscapes where rainfall is so rare they qualify as deserts. Antarctica is the coldest, driest, and windiest place on the planet, with temperatures dropping below 70 degrees C. Yet, beneath the ice, microbial life persists in pockets of liquid water, and hardy lichens cling to exposed rocks. These polar deserts are as extreme as any hot desert. Their beauty lies in stark contrasts: the blinding whiteness of snow under endless daylight in summer, the eerie blue glow of ice caves, and the frozen stillness that can last for centuries without change. It's a reminder that desert doesn't always mean sand and heat. Sometimes it means ice and silence. There are waterfalls that flow upward in strong winds. In certain conditions, powerful winds can catch the falling water of a tall waterfall and push it back upward, creating the surreal sight of water seemingly defying gravity. This effect is most common in coastal cliffs, where ocean winds are pushed upward against the rock face. The wind's force can be so strong that the waterfall appears to reverse, its spray streaming into the sky. In reality, the water isn't going back to its source. It's being broken into mist and carried away. The show is fleeting, lasting only as long as the gusts hold, but it can make a familiar landscape feel transformed, as if the rules of nature had momentarily shifted. A few seeds can survive for thousands of years before growing. Seeds are nature's time capsules. Protected by tough outer shells, some can lie asleep for centuries, waiting for the right conditions to sprout. In one remarkable case, scientists revived a date palm seed found in the ruins of Masada, Israel, that was nearly 2,000 years old. Certain Arctic tundra plants produce seeds that can last even longer in frozen soil. Inside, the embryo remains suspended in a state of near-zero activity, its stored nutrients preserved. When warmth, moisture, and light return, the seed wakes up and begins to grow, bridging vast stretches of time in a single act of renewal. It's as if the plant has been holding its breath for centuries, ready to return to life when the world is ready for it. There are animals that can clone themselves. A few creatures can reproduce without mating, creating exact genetic copies of themselves. This process, called asexual reproduction, is common in simple organisms, but also occurs in more complex animals. Starfish can regenerate lost arms, and in some cases, an entire new starfish can grow from a single limb. Certain freshwater hydras simply bud off miniature versions of themselves, while some insects can lay eggs that develop into clones without fertilization. In stable environments, cloning lets a species multiply quickly without needing to find mates. The downside is less genetic diversity, which can make populations vulnerable to change. But in the right circumstances, it's a remarkably efficient way to ensure survival. Some plants can count the hours of daylight. Many plants have an internal clock, a circadian rhythm that helps them keep track of time. A few use this ability to measure the length of the day, a process called photoperiodism, which tells them when to flower, grow, or shed leaves. For example, chrysanthemums bloom only when nights reach a certain length, while others wait for days to be long enough to ensure summer pollination. This timing can be so exact that plants kept in artificial light cycles will still open and close their flowers at the correct times, even without cues from the sun. It's a subtle intelligence, letting plants sync their lives with the changing seasons. There are clouds heavier than mountains. A single large thundercloud can hold millions of tons of water, far outweighing an entire mountain in mass. The reason it doesn't fall all at once is that the water is suspended in tiny droplets or ice crystals spread out over a vast area and supported by rising air currents. When conditions shift, some of that water condenses and falls as rain, hail, or snow. These huge clouds can stretch for kilometers across and tower high into the atmosphere, their tops glowing white in sunlight while their undersides churn with shadow. Seeing one on the horizon, it's hard to imagine that something so airy could be so heavy, yet they drift overhead as easily as a handful of feathers. A few creatures can survive in boiling water. In the extreme environments around deep-sea hydrothermal vents, water temperatures can reach over 100 degrees C, hot enough to kill most life instantly. Yet certain microorganisms called hyperthermophiles thrive here. They've evolved proteins and cell structures that remain stable at extreme heat, letting them survive where others would fall apart. Some live in the scalding runoff of geysers on land, such as those in Yellowstone National Park. These heat-loving microbes form the base of entire food webs, supporting tubeworms, clams, and crabs that cluster around vent openings. Studying them has revealed enzymes that can withstand temperatures far beyond what was once thought possible for life, challenging our understanding of biology and expanding our search for life in hot, quote, environments beyond Earth. In places where water boils and darkness reigns, they quietly flourish, proving that life's limits are far wider than we once believed. The ocean's deepest point is deeper than Mount Everest is tall. Far beneath the Pacific Ocean lies the Mariana Trench, home to the Challenger Deep, the deepest known point in Earth's oceans. At nearly 11 kilometers down, it's deeper than the height of Mount Everest above sea level. The pressure there is over 1,000 times greater than at the surface, enough to crush most submarines. The darkness is total, and temperatures hover just above freezing. Yet life exists even here. Tiny arthropods, strange snailfish, and resilient microbes survive in this crushing environment, feeding on organic material that drifts down from the upper ocean. Very few people have ever visited the Challenger Deep, but unmanned probes have mapped its alien landscape of slopes, trenches, and sediments. It's a reminder that some of Earth's most extreme frontiers remain largely unexplored, not in space, but in the silent depths of our own planet's oceans. Some fish create their own underwater light shows. In the deep sea, where sunlight never reaches, many creatures produce light through bioluminescence. A few fish use it not only to lure prey or hide from predators, but also to communicate. The flashlight fish, for example, has light-producing organs under its eyes that it can blink by covering them with skin flaps. Lanternfish carry glowing patterns along their bodies, which may help them recognize one another in the darkness. Some species flash in rhythmic pulses, creating patterns like Morse code in the water. These displays can be mesmerizing, a drifting ballet of lights in total darkness, as though the ocean floor has its own constellations. In a world without sunlight, light becomes a language written in flickers and glows, telling stories we have only just begun to understand. A few plants can taste when they're being eaten. Plants may seem passive, but many can sense and respond to damage almost instantly. When a caterpillar bites into a leaf, some plants detect specific chemicals in the insect's saliva. This triggers the release of defensive compounds, bitter or toxic chemicals that make the leaf less appetizing. In some cases, the plant even sends out airborne signals that warn nearby plants to turn on their own defenses. This ability doesn't involve taste buds like ours, but rather chemical detection at the cellular level. To an insect, it's as if the meal suddenly turns sour mid-bite. The process shows that plants are far from unaware. They're active participants in their own survival, able to read the world in ways that are subtle but highly effective. There are places where stones move on their own. In California's racetrack playa, a dry lake bed in Death Valley, large rocks seem to slide across the ground, leaving long tracks behind them. For decades, no one knew how they moved, especially since no one had ever seen it happen. The mystery was solved when researchers discovered that in rare winter conditions, a thin sheet of ice forms under the rocks. As the ice warms and breaks apart, light winds push the rocks slowly across the slick surface. The movement is so gradual, it can take hours for a rock to travel a few meters. The result is a landscape marked with strange trails, as if the stones had taken a nighttime journey across the desert floor. Some birds can mimic almost any sound. A few birds are gifted impressionists. Lyrebird of Australia can imitate chainsaws, camera shutters, other bird calls, and even human voices with uncanny accuracy. Mockingbirds in North America weave dozens of different sounds into their songs, copying frogs, crickets, and car alarms. These abilities serve various purposes, attracting mates, defending territory, or simply showing off. Young birds often learn their repertoires by listening closely to their surroundings, and the best mimics can pass these learned sounds down through generations. To hear a bird in the forest mimic the exact sound of a barking dog is both surprising and oddly delightful, a reminder that nature's voices are not always what they seem. A few insects can see in ultraviolet light, while humans see only a narrow range of wavelengths. Many insects can detect ultraviolet, UV light, revealing patterns invisible to us. Flowers often have UV markings that act as landing guides, pointing pollinators straight to their nectar. Bees, butterflies, and some beetles navigate partly by reading these patterns, which may look to them like glowing signs in the dark. UV vision can also help insects spot predators or find mates. For them, the world is painted with colors and contrasts. We can't imagine the same landscapes we know, but with a hidden dimension of light. The Sahara Desert was once green and full of life, thousands of years ago, the Sahara was not an endless spread of sand, but a vast savanna with lakes, rivers, and grasslands. Evidence from ancient lake beds, rock art, and fossilized pollen shows that hippos, crocodiles, and early human settlements thrived there. This green Sahara existed because Earth's tilt and orbit shifted monsoon rains farther north, transforming the region. Over thousands of years, those patterns changed again, drying the land into the desert we know today. It's a vivid example of how climates can shift dramatically, changing entire ecosystems and the course of human history. Beneath the sand, traces of its lush past remain buried, waiting to be uncovered. There are storms that last for centuries. On Jupiter, the Great Red Spot, a massive storm larger than Earth, has been raging for at least 300 years, possibly much longer. While our own planet's storms last days or weeks, Jupiter's run on a different scale, fed by the planet's turbulent atmosphere and lack of a solid surface. The storm keeps spinning with winds reaching hundreds of kilometers per hour. From space, it appears as a swirling red oval, an enduring scar in the gas giant's cloud bands. Studying it helps scientists understand not only Jupiter, but also how atmospheric systems might work on other planets. Some frogs can turn transparent. The glass frogs of Central and South America have skin so see-through that their internal organs are visible. When resting, they can shift blood away from their skin to make themselves even more transparent, blending into leaves and avoiding predators. This ability isn't just camouflage, it also helps regulate their body temperature and protect them from UV light. Seeing one up close feels almost unreal, as if you were looking at a living anatomy model, its heartbeat and movements visible beneath a delicate green surface. A few trees can produce hundreds of gallons of sap in a season. Certain species, like the sugar maple, can yield vast amounts of sap each year. In late winter and early spring, when temperatures swing between freezing nights and thawing days, pressure inside the tree changes, pushing sap through its vessels. Farmers and foragers tap into this flow by drilling small holes and collecting the liquid, which is mostly water with a hint of sugar. It can take more than 40 liters of sap to produce a single liter of maple syrup. But in a good season 1 mature tree might produce hundreds of liters. Sap is more than just a sweet source for humans. It transports water and nutrients to every part of the tree, fueling new growth. Watching the clear liquid drip steadily from a tap in a sunlit forest feels like glimpsing the tree's heartbeat, flowing in rhythm with the slow arrival of spring. There are rivers that boil. Deep in the Peruvian Amazon flows a river known as Shanay Timpishka, or boiled with the heat of the sun. Its water can reach temperatures near 100 degrees C, hot enough to kill small animals that fall in. Unlike volcanic hot springs, this river's heat comes from geothermal activity far underground, where water seeps deep into the earth, warms, and returns to the surface. The boiling river is over 6 kilometers long, winding through dense jungle and shrouded in steam that curls upward into the canopy. For local communities, it holds cultural and spiritual significance, but it's also a scientific curiosity, a reminder that even far from volcanoes, the Earth's heat can shape the landscape in dramatic ways. Walking its banks, you'd see leaves curling from the steam and hear the bubbling water, alive with heat in the middle of the rainforest. Some animals can live entirely in darkness. In the deepest caves and trenches, a few animals are born into a world without light and never leave it. These species often lose their eyes completely, relying instead on heightened senses of touch, smell, or vibration. The Mexican blind cavefish, for example, has skin that can detect subtle changes in water movement, letting it navigate and find food in total darkness. Deep sea creatures like the tripod fish use their long fins to feel along the seafloor, sensing their surroundings without seeing them. In these pitch-black environments, vision is useless, so energy is better spent on other adaptations. Life in darkness may seem limiting to us, but to these animals, it's perfectly normal, a complete, thriving existence in a world beyond the reach of the sun. A few shells grow in perfect mathematical spirals. Many mollusks and other shell-producing animals follow growth patterns that create spirals so exact they can be described by mathematical formulas. The nautilus, for example, builds its shell in a logarithmic spiral, adding larger chambers as it grows while maintaining the same overall shape. This form is both strong and efficient, giving the animal protection and buoyancy control. Such spirals appear elsewhere in nature, in sunflowers, hurricanes, and galaxies, hinting at a universal tendency towards certain patterns. When you hold a shell and trace the spiral inward, you're following a path that nature has repeated on vastly different scales, from the smallest seashell to the sweeping arms of the Milky Way. There are clouds that glow in the night sky, high in the atmosphere, more than 80 kilometers above the ground. Delicate clouds sometimes shimmer after sunset with a silvery blue light. These are noctilucent clouds, formed when ice crystals gather on dust particles in the upper mesosphere. They're lit not by the sun directly overhead, but by sunlight from beyond the horizon, glowing against the deepening twilight. Most visible at high latitudes in summer, they seem almost unreal, ghostly veils rippling in the upper sky. Scientists think they may be becoming more common as changes in Earth's atmosphere provide more moisture at high altitudes. Watching them feels like witnessing the sky itself breathing in silver. Some spiders can sail across the ocean. A few species of spiders use silk not just for webs, but for travel in a behavior called ballooning. They release strands into the air, which catch the wind and lift them off the ground. While most ballooning journeys are short, some spiders have been found hundreds of kilometers out at sea, their silk catching ocean breezes like tiny sails. Scientists believe they can survive by resting on floating debris and catching airborne insects. This ability lets spiders colonize new islands and remote coastlines, arriving as some of the first inhabitants after volcanic eruptions or other disturbances. Watching one drift into the air, borne upward by nothing but a thread, feels feels like seeing an improbable voyage begin. A few animals can survive for years without food. In extreme environments, survival sometimes means going through long periods without a meal. The ohm, a cave-dwelling salamander found in parts of Europe, can go without food for up to 10 years by drastically slowing its metabolism. Crocodiles and certain snakes can survive more than a year without eating, living off stored body fat. Even tiny creatures like tardigrades can enter a dormant state called cryptobiosis, halting almost all biological activity until conditions improve. These strategies aren't just about endurance. They let animals survive in habitats where food comes in rare, unpredictable bursts, proving that patience can be as important as speed in the natural world. There are forests beneath the ocean. Off the coasts of many continents lie vast underwater kelp forests, swaying gently with the currents. Giant kelp can grow over 0.5 meter a day, reaching heights of more than 30 meters, creating a submerged canopy that shelters fish, sea otters, and countless other species. These forests act as nurseries for marine life and help protect shorelines by breaking the force of waves. Sunlight streaming through the kelp gives the water an emerald glow, and the movement of the fronds can feel almost hypnotic to divers. Like forests on land, they're complex ecosystems. Only here, the trees are made of flexible leaf, like blades anchored to the ocean floor. Some birds can sleep while flying. A few birds, like the frigate bird, spend days or even weeks in the air without landing. Scientists have discovered that they can rest by shutting down 1/2 of their brain at a time, letting them maintain flight while still getting some sleep. This unihemispheric slow wave sleep lets them glide effortlessly, riding air currents while staying alert enough to navigate and avoid danger. Even when fully asleep, they may continue circling or climbing to stay aloft. It's a survival skill that turns the sky into a resting place, blurring the line between waking and dreaming as they drift through clouds and stars. Certain plants can survive without soil. Epiphytes, like many orchids and bromeliads, grow on other plants without taking nutrients from them. They absorb moisture and nutrients from rain, dust, and decaying matter that collects in bark crevices or on their own leaves. Some, like air plants, need almost nothing but air and occasional misting to thrive. These plants have adapted to life in treetops, where competition for ground space is fierce. They cling to branches, swaying with the wind, creating vertical gardens that hang suspended between earth and sky. They're a reminder that roots in the ground aren't always necessary. Sometimes life finds a way to float. There are animals that can reverse their aging. The immortal jellyfish, Turritopsis dohnae, has an extraordinary ability. When injured, starved, or stressed, it can revert from its mature adult form back into an earlier polyp stage, essentially restarting its life cycle. This process, called transdifferentiation, lets it dodge death by aging, potentially repeating the cycle indefinitely. While individual jellyfish can still die from predators or disease, the species has discovered a biological loophole that challenges our understanding of life and death. It's a small creature, no bigger than a pinky nail, but its ability to turn back time makes it one of the most remarkable organisms on Earth. Some deserts sing. In certain sandy regions, the dunes themselves can produce haunting sounds. When dry sand slides down steep slopes, friction between the grains creates vibrations that resonate through the dune, producing a deep hum or roar. These singing sands have been reported in deserts around the world, from the Sahara to the deserts of China and the American Southwest. The sound can last for minutes, rising and falling like a distant choir. Locals often have legends about spirits or hidden forces, but the true cause is the physics of sand, millions of grains moving in harmony, creating music from the desert itself. A few fish can climb waterfalls. The Hawaiian goby fish, or wapu, can scale vertical waterfalls using a suction disc formed by fused pelvic fins. These small fish hatch in the ocean, but must return to freshwater streams to mature, which means climbing waterfalls that can be several meters high. They inch their way up the slick rock face, gripping with their suction disc and using powerful tail flips to advance. It's an exhausting journey, but those that succeed reach quieter streams with fewer predators. Watching them climb is like witnessing determination in its purest form, a tiny fish refusing to let gravity stand in the way of survival. There are trees that can warn each other of danger. When a giraffe starts feeding on an acacia tree, the tree doesn't just sit passively. Within minutes, it releases chemicals called tannins that make its leaves bitter and less nutritious. But it also releases ethylene gas into the air, a signal that nearby acacia trees can detect. These neighboring trees respond by increasing their own tannin production, even before being touched. Downwind trees are protected, but trees upwind remain vulnerable. It's a sophisticated early warning system, showing that plants can communicate and coordinate their defenses in real time. In the quiet stillness of the savanna, an invisible conversation is happening, one that helps shape who eats and who survives. Some animals can see in complete darkness, while most creatures need at least some light to see. A few can navigate in absolute darkness, using senses beyond vision. Certain deep-sea fish have eyes so sensitive they can detect the faintest bioluminescent glow from miles away. Bats and dolphins use echolocation, sending out sound waves and listening to the echoes to create mental maps of their surroundings. Some snakes have heat-sensing pits that detect infrared radiation, letting them see the warm bodies of prey even in pitch-black caves. For these animals, darkness isn't a limitation. It's just another environment to master, filled with information invisible to us. There are flowers that bloom underwater. Most flowering plants grow on land, but a few have adapted to life beneath the surface. Seagrasses, for example, produce tiny flowers and release pollen into the water, where currents carry it to other plants for pollination. Some aquatic plants, like certain species of water lilies, bloom just below the surface, relying on water movement instead of wind or insects. These underwater gardens provide crucial habitats for fish, seahorses, and invertebrates, acting as nurseries and feeding grounds. Swimming through a seagrass meadow with sunlight filtering down and flowers swaying gently in the current feels like drifting through an alien landscape, one where life has learned to bloom without ever breaking the surface. A few animals can predict earthquakes. In the hours or days before an earthquake, some animals behave strangely. Dogs bark incessantly, birds abandon their nests, and fish jump out of the water. Scientists aren't entirely sure how they sense it, but theories include detecting subtle ground vibrations, changes in electromagnetic fields, or shifts in groundwater chemistry. In ancient times, people paid close attention to animal behavior as a natural warning system. While modern seismology has advanced far beyond this, the mystery remains. Animals may be tuned to signals in the earth that we can't yet measure or understand. It's a humbling reminder that we still have much to learn about the senses and instincts of the creatures around us. Some rivers freeze from the bottom up. In most places, rivers and lakes freeze from the surface down because ice is less dense than water. But in extremely cold climates, a different process can happen. Supercooled water, chilled below freezing, but still liquid, can form ice crystals on the riverbed. These crystals accumulate into a slushy ice layer called phrasal or anchor ice, which can build upward until the entire river freezes from the bottom. This phenomenon can trap fish and other aquatic life, reshaping underwater habitats in unexpected ways. It's yet another example of how water, one of the most familiar substances on Earth, can behave in surprising ways under the right conditions. There are plants that can move toward light in minutes. While most plants adjust their position slowly over days, some species can track the sun's movement across the sky in real time. Sunflowers, for example, rotate their heads from east to west during the day, following the sun to maximize photosynthesis. At night, they turn back east, ready for sunrise. This behavior, called heliotropism, is driven by cells on opposite sides of the stem that grow at different rates depending on light exposure. Watching a field of sunflowers all facing the same direction, then turning in unison as the day progresses, feels almost choreographed, a slow dance between plant and star. Some caves glow with living light. In New Zealand's Waitomo Caves and a few other places worldwide, the ceilings glow with thousands of tiny blue-green lights. These are glowworms, the larvae of a type of fungus gnat that produce bioluminescence to attract prey. They hang sticky silk threads from the cave roof, and when insects fly toward the light, they become trapped. The effect is mesmerizing. A dark cave transformed into a starry sky, with constellations made of living creatures. Visitors who enter by boat often sit in silence, drifting beneath the glowing ceiling, as if they've crossed into another world entirely. A few animals can taste with their feet. Butterflies and some flies have taste receptors on their feet, letting them sample food just by landing on it. When a butterfly touches a leaf or flower, It instantly knows whether it's suitable for feeding or egg laying. This ability is crucial for survival. Choosing the right plant can mean the difference between healthy offspring and none at all. For these insects, walking across a surface is like tasting dozens of samples in seconds, gathering information we'd need to use our tongues to collect. It's a sensory shortcut that turns every step into a decision. There are islands made entirely of pumice. After certain volcanic eruptions, vast rafts of floating pumice stone can drift across the ocean for thousands of kilometers. These pumice rafts are light enough to float because they're full of trapped gas bubbles. Some are large enough to be seen from space, spreading across the water like pale islands. Over time, they break apart and sink, but while afloat, they can carry seeds, marine organisms, and even small reptiles to distant shores, helping to colonize new ecosystems. It's a natural ferry service, shaped by fire and carried by currents, silently redistributing life across the sea. Some trees can bend light. In dense forests, certain trees have leaves that are arranged to capture and channel light more efficiently. The structure of the leaf surface, combined with the way chloroplasts are distributed, can bend and focus light deep into the leaf tissue, maximizing photosynthesis even in shade. Some plants have iridescent leaves that shimmer with blue or green hues, caused by microscopic structures that scatter light. These adaptations help plants survive in the understory, where sunlight is scarce and competition is fierce. It's a reminder that even something as simple as a leaf can be a masterpiece of biological engineering. A few animals can hear sounds from miles away. Elephants communicate using low-frequency rumbles that travel through the ground and air, reaching other elephants up to 10 kilometers away. Whales sing songs that can be heard across entire ocean basins, sometimes over hundreds of kilometers. These sounds are below the range of human hearing, but for these animals, they're a vital lifeline, helping them coordinate movements, find mates, and warn of danger. It's as if they live in a world where distance doesn't silence voices, where messages travel farther than we can imagine, carried by vibrations through earth and sea. There are forests that breathe fire. In certain forests, especially those with high concentrations of dry eucalyptus trees, the air can become so saturated with flammable oils that a single spark can ignite the atmosphere itself. These firestorms move with terrifying speed, consuming everything in their path. Yet, many eucalyptus species have evolved to survive and even benefit from fire. Their seeds require heat to germinate, and their thick bark protects the living tissue inside. After a fire, the forest can regenerate rapidly, sprouting fresh green growth from blackened trunks. It's a landscape shaped by flames, where destruction and renewal are two sides of the same cycle. Some corals can survive being bleached and recover. Coral bleaching happens when corals expel the algae living in their tissues, usually due to stress from warming waters. Without the algae, corals lose their color and their main source of food. Many die, but some can recover if conditions improve quickly enough. They re-establish their relationship with algae and slowly regain their color and health. Scientists are studying these resilient corals to understand what makes them more adaptable, hoping to protect reefs in a warming world. It's a fragile hope, but a reminder that even in the face of crisis, life can sometimes find a way back. There are lakes that explode. In a few rare cases, volcanic lakes can accumulate massive amounts of dissolved carbon dioxide in their depths. If the lake is disturbed by a landslide, earthquake, or even a change in temperature, the gas can suddenly erupt in a deadly cloud. This phenomenon, called a limnic eruption, has occurred at Lake Nyos in Cameroon, where a gas release killed thousands of people and animals in 1986. The gas, heavier than air, flowed down into valleys, suffocating everything in its path. Now, engineers have installed pipes to slowly release the gas from the lake, venting it safely into the atmosphere. It's a haunting example of how even still water can hold invisible danger. Some animals can create their own magnetic fields. Certain bacteria, known as magnetotactic bacteria, produce tiny crystals of magnetite inside their bodies, which align with Earth's magnetic field and help them navigate through sediment. Sharks and rays have specialized organs called ampullae of Lorenzini that can detect weak electrical fields, including those generated by the muscle contractions of prey. While they don't produce strong magnetic fields themselves, they're incredibly sensitive to the electromagnetic environment around them. This sixth sense lets them hunt in murky water or darkness, sensing life that would otherwise be invisible. It's a superpower hidden beneath the surface, silent and precise. There are places where the sun doesn't set for months. Near the polar circles, during summer, the sun can stay above the horizon for weeks or even months, creating a phenomenon known as the midnight sun. In places like northern Norway, Alaska, and parts of Antarctica, daylight stretches endlessly, blurring the boundaries between day and night. People adapt by using blackout curtains, but wildlife follows the light. Birds remain active, plants grow rapidly, and predators hunt around the clock. Experiencing it can feel surreal, as if time itself has paused, leaving you suspended in a world of perpetual daylight. Some plants can trap and digest insects in seconds. The snap of a Venus flytrap is famous, but other carnivorous plants are just as efficient. The bladderwort, an aquatic plant, has tiny underwater traps that can suck in prey in less than a millisecond, one of the fastest movements in the plant kingdom. When a small organism triggers the trap, a door opens, water rushes in, and the prey is pulled inside before it can react. The plant then seals the trap and begins digestion. It's an elegant solution to life in nutrient-poor waters, where hunting becomes a necessity, not a choice. There are rivers that run in reverse. Some rivers can change direction depending on tides, floods, or geological shifts. The Chicago River, for example, was famously reversed by engineers in the early 1900s to prevent pollution from flowing into Lake Michigan. In nature, Tidal rivers like the Amazon's tributaries can reverse flow twice a day as ocean tides push water upstream. Watching a river flow backward feels like witnessing a glitch in reality, a reminder that even something as fundamental as a river's direction can shift under the right forces. A few animals can regrow their entire brain. Some flatworms, like planarians, can regenerate not just limbs, but their entire body, including the brain. If cut into pieces, each fragment can grow into a complete worm. Even more remarkably, some studies suggest they can retain learned behaviors after regeneration, as if memories are stored not just in the brain, but throughout the body. This ability has made them a focus of regenerative medicine research, offering clues about how complex tissues might one day be regrown in humans. It's a small, simple creature performing a feat that seems like science fiction. There are trees that can survive without leaves for years. Some desert trees, like the ocotillo, shed their leaves during droughts and remain bare for months or even years. When rain finally comes, they sprout new leaves within days, transforming from skeletal branches into lush green bushes almost overnight. This strategy, called drought deciduousness, conserves water and energy during the harshest times. The tree remains alive, its tissues dormant, but ready, waiting patiently for the sky to open. It's a survival tactic built on patience, proof that sometimes the best way forward is simply to wait. And with that, we've wandered through some of nature's most incredible secrets. From forests that breathe and rivers that glow, to creatures that freeze solid and come back to life, the world holds wonders in every corner. Some are hidden in plain sight, waiting to be noticed. Others lie deep beneath the ocean or high in the atmosphere, far from our daily lives. But they're all part of the same planet, the same intricate web of life that we belong to. If these stories sparked your curiosity or helped you unwind, consider sharing them with someone who might enjoy a quiet journey through the natural world. And if you'd like more of these gentle explorations, Mr. Sleepy Science will be here, ready to guide you through the calm and the curious, one fact at a time. Until next time, sleep well and dream of all the wonders still waiting to be discovered.